Jordan Peterson could be changing the face of Christianity without you realizing it. As I watched the most recent Jubilee debate, I couldn't help but see a reimagining of Christianity if Christians aren't careful. Hi, I'm Joel Reads Bible. I read the Bible so that you don't have to, but I'm just going to do a quick little video here to warn Christians of the dangers of Jordan Peterson and what might come of Christianity in the future because of people like him. As a Christian, I believe that the truth of Christianity was solid like a rock. You know, that the path was narrow. You wouldn't look to the right nor to the left. But since I've left Christianity, I've now begun to realize just how much it's evolved, you know, from its humble roots, even just starting with the Torah. When I was watching the debate, I could see this like new era of Christianity through the lens of Jordan Peterson. You know, like a God simply becoming synonymous with our core values, or worship simply being what we care about most, and living as Christ being centered around self-sacrifice or delayed gratification for the greater good, something like that. All our favorite Bible stories we learned as kids have been reframed by Jordan Peterson. He has this whole Bible series, which is not unlike the way Paul did it in the New Testament, you know, and apologists have been doing ever since. What Christians don't realize is the truths of their religion are not revealed by the Holy Spirit or explicitly stated in the Bible, but they come to prominence and enter the Christian zeitgeist basically through popularity. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because I'm going to be posting a video in the next few days that speaks to the doctrine that disease is a result of the fall, that we get childhood cancer because Eve ate the fruit. This is as true as anything else in Christianity, and it is not directly stated in the Bible. And I'll go into more detail about that in the actual video. But where did it come from? Like, why is that something that like every Christian seems to know? It's ubiquitous in Christianity across the board. Saint Augustine made it up, along with many other ideas which the church rejected, flat out rejected, and many others that were affirmed by councils of bishops. But this particular doctrine wasn't confirmed by any council. Nobody said through the power of the Holy Spirit, yes, this is a doctrine that is true, that we are going to adopt in the one true church. It just became popular. And now all of the denominations more or less use this to excuse the problem of suffering. And God didn't reveal it to anyone until around the late 4th, early 5th century. Really? Is that really how it works? So Jordan Peterson is nothing if not popular. Millions of people are going to see that Jubilee debate, and his ideas are going to enter the zeitgeist. All it takes is some popular pastors to watch one of his Bible series and think he has some neat perspectives and put some of those perspectives in some of their compelling sermons. Next thing you know, in a few decades, Christianity is going to teach that God basically means conscience, which I agree would be a misnomer. You know, I don't think we think of God that way. It's basically like saying God is energy or the universe or something like that. But it's probably not a bad direction entirely. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to make Christianity disappear in a semantic fog, I don't hate it. Not that it's particularly coherent now, but this is a warning to Christians, and I don't think I'm fear-mongering, right? Like, literally anything can become truth to a Christian if you say it enough. How many times have you heard a Christian say, or if you're a Christian, you've said, no one would die for a lie? The implication there is that the disciples, after seeing the risen Christ, died by martyrdom. They died because they wouldn't deny having seen Jesus alive after the crucifixion. But there's no evidence of that happening with any of the disciples. That's just entirely made up. It's just something that became popular, and now Christians repeat it like it's true. Right? This is a very malleable religion, and that's something that, like, if I were still a Christian, I would be worried about. So now we have Jordan Peterson, who is the Christian on one of the most popular debate platforms with a bunch of atheists. He's kind of like a modern day church father who is once again changing how Christianity is understood by its adherents. And he even said that. He said that a lot of people value the way he views these things. And you might think that, like, if anything, he's just going to change things superficially. You know, it's not going to be a big deal. His ideas won't influence salvation issues, heaven forbid, right? Pun intended. But do you realize how the Christian understanding of the purpose of Jesus' death has changed? Early Christians literally thought it was to pay some sort of ransom to Satan. It was only in the 16th century, in the Protestant Reformation, that we got penal substitutionary atonement, which is very popular, but not even like necessarily agreed on in all of Christianity today. Some believe it was God having to be like a victor over death so that we can have a chance to become divine ourselves. Like these very different ideas in all sorts of different denominations. And there are even more little like subtle differences in what was actually happening there. And these things, again, have evolved over hundreds of years. Nobody really knows how it works. They all have opinions on it, and it changes because people have different modes of thinking, and new philosophies come up, and issues are presented to certain ideas, and so they have to kind of morph them and change them to kind of dodge the problems that atheists or unbelievers think of. And now here's Jordan adding his voice into the mix. And you think Christianity is impervious to his meta-truth woo-hoo ideologies? Like, I wouldn't be so confident. Christianity is ever evolving, diversifying, and fragmenting to the point where it's hard to pin down what Christianity even is. Jordan Peterson could potentially influence Christianity in such a way that it would become unrecognizable to us, the way our version would be unrecognizable to ancient Hebrews or even early Christians. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're a Christian and you claim Jordan Peterson or you like some of the things he says. Okay, but you're probably going to contribute to a complete shift of Christian doctrine away from something that seems more practical to something a little bit more, ethereal or something like that, which is great because maybe we can get a little bit more superficial with it and kind of enjoy the values without having to have the dogma attached to it, something along those lines, and read it and appreciate it like we do the Greek myths or something like that. So as much as unbelievers might attack Jordan Peterson and be frustrated with him because he won't be straightforward about what he believes, just look at what's happened with Christianity since its inception and, the appropriation of Judaism. It's completely different. It keeps changing. There are all sorts of things I was taught as a kid that aren't true. They're not true in the text. They're not true in any meaningful way, but they become popular amongst Christians, and Christians just believe it. And eventually they become foundational doctrines of the religion, or at the very least, some sort of get out of jail free card for the problem of suffering or something along those lines. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy watching me read full chapters of the Bible. I also do other fun videos like this here and there, and I do live stream debates a couple times a week. So please subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Good luck.